Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our next series of our civics outreach trainings at home. I'm glad that you could join us this afternoon. Today, we're going to be talking about protecting yourself in the 2020 election space as we approach November. We'll give folks a few minutes to hop on, and then we'll get started. So without further ado, let's play some music. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to our most recent series of the Civics Outreach at Home. Today, we're going to talk all about safety and security in elections. I do want to remind you just to make sure to put your questions right below here with the blue button. We'll answer all of your questions right at the end of the webinar. But without further ado, I'm going to kick it off to Erica and Andrea to get us started.
Thanks so much, Maria. Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Holterman with the Google Civics Outreach team, and we have Erica Arbiter here as well. Today we're going to go over a handful of tools that you all can use to establish yourselves online with authoritative information, amplify your message across Google and YouTube, and protect your information online. Great. And so here is just a quick agenda of what we're going to go over today. First, I'm going to talk about how you can manage your presence on the organic side of search. From there, I'm going to talk about getting set up on YouTube and some quick tips to make sure that your presence looks good there. And then I'm going to pass it over to Erica so she can talk about the latest and greatest tools we have that you can utilize to make sure that you're protecting your organization or your entity well online. Great. So the first one is managing your presence on search. And the tool today I'm going to be talking about is claiming and suggesting edits to your entity's knowledge panel. So this is what a typical Google search query looks like today. You're going to have the query at the top. You may or may not have ads running against the query. You're going to have the news section in the middle top, and then you'll have the organic results under that. And then you may have a knowledge panel right there on the right. So knowledge panels are dedicated information boxes about high-profile entities for whom we have enough information about from the web. So they are going to appear either on the top right side of a desktop search. They're actually going to be at the very top of a mobile search. So they're designed to give our users as accurate and authoritative information as possible. So who better to make sure that information is accurate than you all, than the entities themselves. So for those of you who have knowledge panels, you can actually go ahead and claim your knowledge panel to make sure you own that panel, and you can ensure that information is as accurate and as up to date as possible. Claiming only takes a few minutes. Just make sure you're signed into a Google account that you want to use to manage the panel. So if you work at an organization or you work for an elected official as a staffer, you might want to create a shared Google account. Then you'll sign into that Google account. You'll search for your entity on Google search. You'll find the knowledge panel. And then at the bottom left side of that knowledge panel, you'll see a button that says claim this knowledge panel. From there, you'll go through our verification process, and you can also really easily find the steps to claim your knowledge panel by just searching claim your knowledge panel in Google search. From there, you can suggest edits to the knowledge panel using the editing interface. We say suggest edits rather than edit directly because say somebody is 5'9", they can't say they're 6 feet. We just want to make sure that information is as accurate and up to date as possible. So here are some details about changes you can or cannot suggest, namely your title, the Wikipedia snippet, etc. Some really common edits we see political entities making are updating the picture to make sure it's a more current photo of your entity or your entity's logo, adding or changing social profile links, or adding additional education information. Here are some resource links for Google Knowledge Panel. They're really easily found on search as well, but feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions around that. Great. And now I'm going to move on to YouTube. But again, just as a quick reminder, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about on today's webinar, feel free to comment below. And then at the end of the webinar, we will have some time for Q&A. We'll answer any of your questions. So moving on to getting set up on YouTube. So it is 2020. In today's day and age, we are all watching video content. It's just a fact of life. And actually by next year, Cisco estimates that over 80% of all consumer internet traffic is going to be video content. People are actually going to YouTube for that content. So 2 billion people are logged on to YouTube monthly across the globe. And 220 million Americans utilize YouTube to get their video content. That's more than Facebook video, Prime Video, Netflix, etc. It's just a huge place for people, Americans, to get their content. So what better way to connect with your audience than meeting them where they are, which is on YouTube. So want to talk quickly about some basic first steps to setting up your channel to make sure it's as successful as possible. So first, you're going to want to sign into the account you'll use to manage your YouTube. Oftentimes, that might be the same shared Google account that you use to manage the Knowledge Panel. From there, you'll go to youtube.com to find your channel. And then once you're signed into your channel, you can change your name and photo, and then change the description to make sure it's as clear and concise as possible about who you are and what your channel is. From there, you want to add some channel art that reflects your community. So whether it's a picture of your organization's logo, if you work for an elected official, maybe it's the elected official themselves, a picture of your community, etc. After that, you're going to want to upload a 1-minute channel trailer to the channel. That is a really great way to make sure people have a better understanding of what they're getting when they come to your channel. When someone goes to your channel, the channel trailer automatically plays. So it's a really great way to make sure you're really quickly engaging with anybody that comes to your channel. And it serves really in the same way a movie trailer does. You want to make sure you can get a verification badge and a custom URL. So you can email us at civics-outreach for that verification badge and custom URL, and let us know if you have any questions about that. So if you're going to all the trouble to create a YouTube channel, you want to promote all of that hard work that you're doing and promote your channel as much as possible. So promote your channel by putting it in your other social media bios, sending it out to either your supporter list or your press list, putting your YouTube channel on your website, posting on your blog, etc. Just making sure that you're publicizing your channel as much as possible. So here are some quick tips to interacting with your channel's audience. You want to use really good video descriptions and banners to encourage people to link and to like and subscribe. Really great way to make sure people are continuing to stay up to date with the work your organization is doing is having them subscribe, so they'll continue to get updates on your videos. Here are some really helpful resources for setting up your channel. We have instructions for changing your channel name or description, creating some good channel art, and a good help center on uploading that 1-minute channel trailer. Great. And so last but not least, I want to talk about managing your presence, specifically when it comes to comments and copyright issues. So unfortunately, but undeniably, one downfall of social media is that your content can attract comments or backlash from people who don't agree with your opinions, beliefs, or your values. So it's really important to build a social media crisis strategy as a team and put this into practice as a dry run. It's just sort of part and parcel of being on social media, but there are a lot of great things you can do to be prepared. So there's some really great ways to manage comments on YouTube. So some features that YouTube offers are moderators. So you can actually designate users who can remove comments on behalf of your channel. You can also use blocked words. So any comments with certain words will be held for review. And you can also block links. So all comments with hashtags or URL can also be held for review. Some really great tips that we suggest you all use are have a clear content management policy, report any hateful or offensive content comments, and change your comment settings to make sure that you're well in control of your comment settings on your channel by doing that easily in the YouTube Studio interface. So you can rely on YouTube to detect copyright infringements. When you post a new video, our content ID system cross-checks it with any content. So for example, music or footage that right holders have uploaded to YouTube. Based on the usage terms that those right holders have specified for their content, your video is either tracked, monetized, or blocked. So if you're trying to use copyrighted music, YouTube actually offers a range of tracks in the Creative Commons that are free for your use instead. Content ID is just the way that we protect the rights of content holders and support creativity. So some ways to avoid copyright strikes. 2 big tips here. Before using a copyrighted music track, just check the associated policy directly from your YouTube channel. And then you can also actually access hundreds of music tracks and sound effects for free using YouTube's audio library. So we have a few routes for you all to report any content you think might violate our community guidelines or violate the local or federal law. So first, if you think certain content violates our community guidelines, whether it's spam or sexual content, you can report it directly from the video itself. Additionally, if you think that content violates local laws, you can use our one-stop shop to submit your request. That support link on the right there is gives you more info on our legal removals process. And with that, that is all that I had for YouTube. Again, please feel free to submit any comments or questions below, and we will get to those at the end of this webinar, but I will pass it over to Erica Arbiter to talk about protecting your information online.
Hi, I'm so excited to jump into this. So we're going to cover safety and security. First, we'll go through Google's built-in protections, so what features are available to all users, and then additional features and best practices that you should do as a highly targeted individual this cycle. So for Google's built-in protections for safety and security. Next slide. Sorry. So we have our built-in protections, and these are built to make the world just a safer place for everybody. And this is all users across. So that's Gmail, Safe Browsing, and Play Protect. with Gmail's automatic spam and phishing protections. So 1.5 billion people use Gmail every month. 5 million paying businesses use Gmail in the workplace as part of G Suite. And we know that good security means constantly staying ahead of threats. So our existing machine learning models are highly effective at doing this. Along with other protections, they help block more than 99.9% of spam, phishing, and malware from reaching Google and Gmail inboxes. So with safe browsing, this technology automatically protects 4 billion devices by alerting users when they try to visit risky websites. To make the internet safer for everyone, we made this technology free for other companies to use in their browsers as well. So browsers like Apple's Safari, Mozilla's Firefox also use our safe browsing technology. In May, we launched the enhanced safe browsing, and it's a new feature which provides more proactive and tailored protections. For those who choose to enable safe browsing or enhanced safe browsing, Google will automatically evaluate a holistic view of threats you encounter on the web and attacks against your Google account. So we highly recommend going ahead and enabling the enhanced safe browsing feature. And then Google Play Protect. So this is Google's built-in malware protection for Android. It scans and verifies 100 billion apps each day to keep your device, data, and apps safe. It's backed also by Google's machine learning algorithms and constantly evolving to match changing threats. So those are just 3 of the basic built-in protections for all users. And then these are additional features. So we have security checkup, privacy checkup, password checkup, and password manager. So security checkup is a step-by-step tool that helps protect the security of your Google account with personalized recommendations. You can manage which third-party apps have access to your account data, check your saved passwords, and more. So if you do use your Google account to create a login for a different website and you forgot about it, etc., you can see all of the apps that you have granted access, whether it's your location, your contacts, whatever that may be. You can go ahead and make sure that you are comfortable with all of the apps that do have access to that data. It also shows any, It also shows any recent security events from the last 28 days. So if somebody tried to access your account unsuccessfully or successfully, if there was a login to your account, it'll show that. So, and that all of that is available at g.co/security checkup. And we recommend you look at this about once a month. So if you just set an alert on your calendar, first Monday of every month, go ahead and make sure that that security checkup is exactly what reflects your actual activity online. And then privacy checkup. So privacy checkup is another way we help you keep your data private, safe, secure, all of the things that you would want your personal information to be. It helps you choose your privacy settings also step by step. So in just a few minutes, you can control what data is used to personalize your experience across Google services. So that's like your web and app activity, your search history, your YouTube watch history. All of that is all of your settings, and what you share with us and third parties is easily accessible and easy to change via your privacy settings at any time. So that's also available at g.co/privacy checkup. Password checkup. So this is the third one. To give you peace of mind that all your passwords, all the passwords you've saved are secure, we recently launched Privacy Checkup. And that'll scan your saved passwords and notify you if any have been compromised. So if somebody did get access to it and was able to successfully log into one of your accounts, that password checkup will notify you as a user of, as the owner of a Google account. And then our password manager. So passwords continue to be a major vulnerability when it comes to online privacy. 66% of people use the same password for more than one account. I think probably all of us are guilty of it. But what we are seeing is that increases the risk of your personal information, and it is almost a guarantee that it will be compromised. So to help with this major challenge, we've built our password manager directly into Chrome. It's not anything anybody has to sign up for anymore. You don't have to have the app separately, nothing like that. It is just the password manager is built directly into your account, and that enables you to easily create and save strong passwords. It syncs with your Google account so you can manage all of your saved passwords in one place. So both Password Checkup and Password Manager are available at passwords.google.com. That being said, these built-in protections and tools aren't enough to protect you from sophisticated, targeted digital attacks. So how can you protect yourself in your organization? The best way to protect your organization, next slide, sorry. So the best way to protect your organization is by creating a culture of security. This starts by taking responsibility for the data that you have. There are 4 very actionable things you can do to keep yourself accountable and help keep your whole organization safe and protected. So these are the 4 things that, as you go into 2020 and as this election season really does heat up, these are the 4 things that we highly recommend you do as a steward of the safety and security in your organization. So be vigilant of phishing attempts, secure your account, keep your software up to date, and keep important files on the cloud. So the first action item is to be vigilant against phishing attempts. If you hit enter again, sorry. These are just some of the numbers that prove the threat of phishing is alive and well. Sophisticated phishing sites trick almost half of all users, and we want you to know that hackers are very quick. Once they acquire login credentials, we have seen all of our data shows that they try to access the account within 30 minutes. Once they have it, they are in, and that gives you almost no time to respond. So what is phishing? It's an attempt to trick you into revealing your personal information. Let's look closer at these attacks. Basically, it's a form of social engineering that is used to trick you into revealing your email, your password, any sort of personal information that somebody can use to get access to your data. The main goal is to get access to your information. Phishing, especially in the election space, is often not financially motivated. So it's not going to be, that Nigerian prince or your friend traveling overseas who needs you to wire them money. In this space, it is 100% about the disruption of power and their malicious intent. You put not only yourself, but your entire broader organization at risk by not being more vigilant and paying extra attention. So this is a real sign-in page along with a fake sign-in page that we have actually identified. And the fake page might look legit, like a legitimate Google sign-in page, but it is not. So how do you identify it as such? These are the 3 things that you should always do before clicking on any link in your Google, any link that you receive in your email, whether it's Google or a different provider. So make sure that the URL contains an HTTPS certificate, and make sure that you know where the destination URL is taking you. You can hover over to see what the URL is before you click it to make sure that this HTTPS certificate is in fact intact. And then the third thing is make sure, just do a sweep of the visuals. Are they low quality? Are they pixelated? Does something seem off? And then the last thing is make sure that you are familiar with the sender. So just because it's their name, if it's not the actual email address that you have used to communicate with them in the past, or something seems off, pick up the phone and call them and say, or forward it to the email account that you have for them. So if it's normally johnsmith@gmail and you got an email from john-smith@sbcglobal.net, something like that, just go ahead and call them or forward it to them and say, was this actually sent by you? And that can cut out a majority of all phishing attempts. And so the next thing that we highly recommend is g.co/phishing quiz. Because campaign and political staffers receive so many emails and have to do so much of their communication online, we strongly encourage you to take this phishing quiz after the session. It'll show you many examples of phishing emails and it'll show you how to spot them. This is something you can share with your colleagues to help them spot phishing attacks, and it will help keep your organization safer. Highly recommend. The next action item is securing your accounts. So securing your accounts with two-step verification. With your Google account, you can choose the level of account security with easy controls. Passwords are just the first line of defense. Two-step verification provides an extra layer of security. So basically, it's a strong form of authentication that requires more than just your username and password when you sign into your account, like a 6-digit code sent to your phone or generated from the Google Authenticator app. Recently, and this is really important, we have seen that these attackers have become much more sophisticated than they were in years past, and these 6-digit codes are no longer the gold standard. So we've seen attackers be able to intercept these 6-digit codes or get the notification. So the strongest form of two-step verification that we recommend is a physical security key. So let's take a closer look at those. Security keys are 100% unphishable technology. If an attacker does get your password or intercepts that two-step verification code, they will still need your phone or physical security key to access your Google account. In addition to that physical layer of security keys verify a user's identity and the sign-in URL. So if you were to click on that link that looks identical to the Google sign-in page, you put in all of your information, you would still need to use that security key. And because that security key would not recognize it as a legitimate sign-in page, none of the information that you put in would be transmitted. So you can purchase a physical security key like our Titan security key on the Google Store or any trusted retailer. You can also activate your phone's built-in security key if you are running iOS 10 or higher or Android 7 or higher. You may also be eligible for free Titan security keys through our partnership with Defending Digital Campaigns, which we'll also cover today. So the Advanced Protection Program. For users that may have a higher risk of targeted online attacks like campaign teams, we've created the Advanced Protection Program, which leverages the powerful phishing-resistant technology of security keys. The Advanced Protection Program provides industry-leading security to protect you across the many ways attackers try to access your account, like phishing and malware. The program is free and only requires a security key. So these protections are added and adapted continually as the threat landscape changes. These are just some of the key features of the Advanced Protection Program. So defend against phishing. As we discussed, sophisticated phishing techniques can trick even the savviest of users. For example, Jack Dorsey at Twitter was successfully phished recently. And if he is susceptible, who among us is not? So it can trick even, again, the savviest users into giving their private sign-in credentials to attackers. So the Advanced Protection verifies it's really you by requiring that security key when you sign in. An unauthorized user will not be able to sign in without one of your security keys or your phone, even if they have your username or password. To date, we have successfully thwarted 100% of phishing attempts on accounts enrolled in the Advanced Protection Program. That is a stat we're very proud of. Our counsel has told me many times that we will have to change that should we ever get phished, and our product teams are so confident that we have left it in all of our materials. So it is 100% phishing resistant technology. It also prevents fraudulent access to your data. So when you sign up for new apps or services, you're sometimes asked to give access to your data in your Google account. How I mentioned, your contacts, your location, your calendar, your drive. Usually this doesn't pose a risk, but attackers we've seen recently have been able to compromise or impersonate a third-party app or service to gain access to your data. So Advanced Protection allows only Google apps and verified third-party apps to access your Gmail and Google Drive files. Last but not least, it helps block malware. Attackers use many strategies to get users to download harmful software. Google Chrome protects all users against malware, as we discussed previously, but Advanced Protection adds an even stronger defense. So if you attempt to download a risky file, you'll receive an additional warning, or the download may even be blocked. For Android users, Advanced Protection also prevents the installation of unknown apps sourced outside of the Play Store that may be harmful. So how do you enroll? If you have G Suite, we highly recommend enrolling your account into APP today. And you can go ahead and enroll at g.co/advanced protection. Many times you may have sensitive information on your personal Gmail as well. So to get full security, you can enroll your personal Gmail. Again, that's g.co/advanced protection. Please reach out to us at civics-outreach@google.com if you want to enroll with your phone and have your phone as a security key. Otherwise, you can enroll with your physical security keys today. So we are also proud, as I mentioned, to be partnering with the Defending Digital Campaigns this cycle to provide eligible campaigns access to free Titan security keys. So that is the strongest form, as I mentioned, of two-factor authentication. We're working with this bipartisan organization to help make all qualifying campaigns safer and make it easier for people to enroll at our advanced protection program, So either email civics-outreach or Betty at defendcampaigns.org, and we can totally get you set up. We also have added security for the election season. So to take your account security to the next level, Google has created a tailored security offering for political organizations. It's different from the Advanced Protection Program, and we recommend enrolling in it with conjunction to APP. So to that advanced protection. Google accounts used for election-related activity face specific threats right now. I think that's something we all know. They are highly targeted, and there are hackers and bad actors who are dedicating all of their time and energy into infiltrating these specific election-related accounts. So you can request additional protection from Google using this form. So that's the link is there on the bottom of the slide. It's Google with a period after the goo.gle/enhance-security. So with your consent, the requested accounts will receive additional security checks for active threats and suspicious activity, like this very tailored hacking and phishing. So Google may also tailor special protections to address specific and evolving threats. So once you enroll, you are protected without a doubt through 2020, and then we will be assessing the threats as we move into 2021. But should you enroll, you will know that you are 100% protected from specific election-related bad actors. So the next action item we recommend is keeping your software up to date. When we find new vulnerabilities, we fix them. Oftentimes, next slide. We fix them. Oftentimes, bugs that make the headlines that make headlines with compromised accounts or compromised information are bugs that have already been fixed, but people haven't updated their software, which leaves them vulnerable to those kinds of attacks. So auto updates protect you from those types of situations. When you receive a trusted notification that a software update is available, install it as soon as possible. It's very easy for a bad actor to compare the updated version with the current version, see what those vulnerabilities are, and use them to infiltrate whatever account or software that you have. So you should periodically review the software you run on your desktop and mobile devices to make sure you're running the latest versions available. And if there isn't a latest version available or it's not updatable, go ahead and delete that app. If it is not being attended to by a developer or something like that, it is the easiest way for a bad actor to infiltrate your personal information. So visit the settings in your app store. Always enable auto updates. If you have an app that can or won't update, delete it 100%. And then the last piece of advice or guidance that we offer is back up important files. In previous election cycles, advice has been to back up everything. Sorry, next slide. Sorry. In previous election cycles, advice has been to back up everything all the time. With cloud backups, that guidance has changed. Not everything needs to be backed up on the cloud because that makes files more accessible, as we know. So the general best practice here is to make sure unimportant, personal, potentially embarrassing content on your phone is encrypted. Find out what's important, what you need access to at any time. Should you lose your phone, lose your laptop, something gets stolen, etc. Make sure those are the files that are safely protected on the cloud, and delete the less important files. Photos from a friend, a joke, email thread that you were forwarded, read it, appreciate the joke, delete it. You never know how something is going to be perceived should it fall into the wrong hands. So with that, Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, civics-outreach@google.com. We are totally available for anything you need. And so excited to be sharing this information with you.
Amazing. Thanks so much to Erica and Andrea for showing us all of these good tips and tricks that we can use throughout the 2020 election cycle. I know that I saw a question here from Spencer. He asked, can we get Titan security keys up to New York? And the answer is 100% yes. I know that Spencer's on a campaign up in upstate New York. So any campaign at the federal level, make sure, Erica, can you remind us all what the email address is?
So you can go ahead and just email us at civics-outreach. You can also email Betty at defendcampaigns.org. But civics-outreach, the email that's up right now, is the best way to get in contact.
Amazing, amazing. And I know that, throughout the election, it's really important to make sure that everything is locked down. What are some passwords that you guys have seen that people typically use that we should maybe stay away from?
So, Andrea, I can take this one. So, actually, what's so funny about the way that our cybersecurity experts are talking about passwords this cycle and this year is that the word password is very misleading. We really need to be leading into passphrases. So any one word is not going to be enough. What you should be doing is a phrase, something that means something to you, something that's longer. So whether it's, the street you grew up on, the name of your first pet, and your third grade teacher's name all in one, those are the types of things all together. And with a set of numbers or something like that. So doing those passphrases that mean something to you, have the different capitalizations, punctuation, that is what's going to be most secure this cycle. More than anything, we recommend a password manager that creates and auto-generates a secure password for you with a list of nonsensical characters, but that you can have access to with that one easy password to your Google account.
Awesome. And just to add on that, it's really important to make sure that you have very strong, unique passwords across all your different accounts. I know it's unrealistic to remember all of those passwords. So people often end up, I think it's some stat, like 60% of people use the same password from account to account. That's going to open up your opportunities to be subject to phishing or hacking of any kind. So using a password manager to make sure that you can create all of those strong, unique passwords, but also have them stored somewhere safe so you don't have to actually remember all of those, because that might be a little bit unrealistic. That's a really great way to make sure that you can still do that.
Absolutely. You heard it here first. Make sure that you are using passphrases instead of passwords, and
definitely
kind of differentiate the things that you're using online. It's really important. I don't see any more questions down below, but of course, if you have any questions that you think of, or you just have a comment or question for us, feel free to email us at civics-outreach@google.com. You'll get the three of us as well as our broader team, and we're happy to help you with anything that you might need in the civic space, because we know that the road to November is filled with a lot of questions. So feel free to reach out. And with that, thanks so much for joining today. Join us in 2 weeks, same time, same place, same channel on the 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about email best practices. So sending out to those fundraising lists, your newsletter lists, really important to make sure you have those best practices and tips and tricks. So join us then, 2 p.m. on the 29th, right back here. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.